of expressing of expressing sexuality. And in the conditioned world, in the what we call human design not self world, we're homogenized into all kinds of structures of thinking that actually hinders us from being really who we are in sexuality, like everything else. And so that's something to look at on the personal level. On the impersonal level, we wanted to talk about the future of sexuality, because this is very, you said sexy, yeah? It's kind of sexy, the 5955, because we all know 2027 is coming. And with it, the crosses are changing, and we're going into the sleeping phoenix, and sleeping phoenix is 5955. So actually, we're getting a taste this week of the frequency that is going to be with us for the next 400 years from 2027. So we're kind of getting ready, right? And it's changing everything we know. We see the change already. We see the crumbling down of, the family structure, of the way that we deal with sexuality. And so just to have a little look at kind of where we're going to according to human design. And in the end, everything comes back to us. So how do we live in a way? This is for the mind, right? To understand where we're going to and all that. But for us, how can we, this is the quarter of duality we're at. We talked about it in our Zoom lesson. And how do we connect to ourselves in an authentic way? How do we live inside this body with these emotions, with everything that we have as a human being, and be correct in our relationships through sexuality, through everything else? But today we're kind of taking a look at this energy. So in the end, it all goes back.
Especially in the last year, actually last month, showed us with this global event of Olympics that I was mesmerized by seeing the videos online from the kids, teenagers, older people, like making a video in their living room of the family watching Olympics.
Oh, wow.
And the reaction of the family. I saw so many of those. I don't know, somehow the algorithm just like, oh, Julia likes to watch people and their reactions. Like, there you go. And it was absolutely wow. Yeah, to see how the older generation or even young kids like, oh my God, what is this? Yeah, who is this blue man? Who is this? What are they doing here? Where are normal people? And this is the question that we're asking more and more today. Where are the normal people? Where are the normal role models? Because the ground starts shaking. Yeah, we start losing stability in everything that we know today, including the sexuality. So I really like the way you're talking, even though in my head I was like, what if the people who don't really know human design are listening? And what is all this 3955 and the cross and this? So could you explain actually same things in a simpler language, yeah, for those that are maybe not so deeply immersed like ourselves?
Okay. Yes. Sure. I love that you asked that. That's so beautiful, because in the end, it all goes back to simplicity for me. Yeah, because when you live it, it's simple. So when we talk about the numbers, we talk about the gates. So we have this structure that we live in. And in this structure, in this matrix, the planets move, through all these gates, and these gates that the planets move through and bring us information from actually this, the planets moving, sending neutrinos and information streaming through these gates into our mind. Actually, that's on one level. That's what we call transits. And this is what we're talking about when we're saying now it's 59, it's the transit. So the sun is in gate 59. But also what is interesting is that, we're stardust. So those gates, 59, the 55, and every other number we're going to talk about are actually our codons, our genes in our body. Yeah. So those are, if you look at the human design chart, it's those numbers inside the centers. So actually some of us have that as a theme in our lives, consistent. We all have all the gates. So each of us has 59 and each of us has 55, and I'm going to talk about them a little bit. But some of us, it's a theme. And for some, when the transits are moving, then we're really moved by these themes. Yeah. And so when we talk about those, it's like, for me, it's like archetypes, it's just looking at archetypes and what we can invite, if you're not deeply into human design and you don't understand the numbers, it doesn't really matter. So because we're not here to understand here. For me, we're always here to be initiated. So when I speak, it's not about, okay, let me teach you something new. It's not about that. Yeah, it's about initiation into form. So start with, being in your body and going down from your mind and just listening from a different place. If you can imagine that you take your head off and you're listening in your stomach or in your solar plexus, if you know what your inner authority is, then you can be anchored, in your body where your inner authority is. So it's a different kind of listening for me that is needed in order to really understand what we talk about. Okay. And so do you want me to start speaking about 55, 59?
Why not? I mean, this is the hottest topic when we talk about the transition and actual change. That I just want to explain why you want to talk about 59 and 55, these archetypes, because that's where the global change is happening mostly. And for us, it's like literally in our bodies. So you'll talk about the code, and the code that's literally changes the way we look from inside to the outside. And so when we'll understand this, we'll understand also there's no conspiracies, there's no them who have agenda to program us. None of it is really happening. What happens is we're shifting to the other part of the universe where the rules, the programming, the information, the weather is different. And these gates, they are the foundational switch, foundational change in that difference. So yeah, please share your perspective.
Yeah, okay. And I just want to say the way I see it, I don't know what's going on really. I mean, there might be conspiracies, but it doesn't matter because, they're all a part of the changes. So if there are people that are, obviously there is the 1% and the 9%. I don't want to go into that issue, but what we're talking about is deeper. So yeah, that's what you meant actually. Okay.
Exactly.
So gate 55 is the gate where mutation is happening according to Ra in our solar plexus, which is the emotional center. And when we're speaking about these two gates, I want to just kind of like get us, into them. So first of all, we're talking about energy because the 59 gate is in the sacral. So the sacral in your lower stomach is the force life center. It's the one that pushes us, to have sex so we can have babies, to work so we can make a better world for them. All those things that life wants from us in order for us to actually, keep on reproducing so we don't die. So this is the sacral center and it gives us energy for this life. And we have the solar plexus where the 55 is, and this is, in the upper body, up from the belly button. This is where it is, like the upper belly. Yeah. And that's the energy of emotions. And according to human design, emotions are going through a mutation and we are changing into something else. So there is a transition that is happening in our solar plexus, in our emotional wave, that it's becoming from a motor, it's going to being an awareness center. And actually all the emotional people like you and me, Julia, are agents of change, I like to call it, because this is happening in our body. We're a part of this change as the 9 sector beings, or what Ra called the humans in transitus, homo transitus or something like that.
Homo sapiens in transitus.
No, Homo sapiens are 7-centered beings. So he said we are homo in transitus, like in transit to the next thing.
Yeah, but he kept all the three words. He added like a third one.
Homo sapiens intransitus. Okay.
Intransitus, yeah.
See, I'm individual, so I just cut the sapiens and I went to the next level. So we're talking about energy. And 59 is the gate of intimacy and the gate of sexuality, actually. It's his name, you know. The hexagram is dispression, you know, this dispression is like what men do when with seeds, you know, seeding. And the 55 is the gate of spirit, called also abundance. Yeah, so the spirit is abundance. Abundance is all about spirit, and spirit is matter, and matter is spirit. And there is a way where they meet, you know, and this is where they meet. They meet while the life force meets the energy of emotions. There's this dance that they have together, and it's a really interesting dance. It's kind of like Tai Chi. I call it the one and the two. What do I mean, the one and the two? So if you look at the mandala and there's the quarters, we are now in the quarter of duality. Duality is two. So 59 is actually in the quarter of duality, but 55 is in the quarter of initiation. Initiation is only one. That's me, yeah, you know, and that's you. You're also from quarter of initiation. No, you're civilization. I don't remember.
I'm civilization, yeah.
Civilization. So actually initiation and duality are supporting each other, yeah, because if you have the sun in one, then you're going to have the earth in the second. So they're supporting each other, like the earth and the sun, yeah. And
we really, I really feel like bringing a visual just to informing you.
Okay,
so it's yeah. So it's easier for those who don't really get it. There are a lot of collective people who need the visual. So
okay, no problem.
Here it is, yeah, for.
So duality is the two, and initiation is the one. And 59 in the duality is a tribal gate. So that's the tribe, you know, that's the family, that's the many. But 55 is an individual. It's the one, the undivided, you know. So there's this dance here between, you know, I and you, I and them. It's between the individual and the tribal, between the initiation and duality, between the sacral and the emotions. And by the way, 59, when it connects in a channel, it connects to a tribal emotional gate, the 6. This is another interesting thing about this two gates, 59 and 55, both, you know, so beautiful, intimacy and spirit and abundance. And both of them, when they come together in a channel, the gates that they are connected to, so the 59 connects to the 6, and the 6 is conflict. You know, it brings the conflict. Why? Because if you look at sex, you know, in the most physical way, you know, you have and when you look at nature, you see, you know, the males, they fight, you know, to have the females. They have to fight for it. This is the energy. And maybe this is the energy of oppression, you know, of females over 1,000 of years. Like Ross says, we're killer monkeys, right? So we have that. And we're actually growing from that. This is 2027 brings mutation, you know, we're going to something else, and we're going out of this oppression. This is why you have, and for us, it's like, it's going on, you know, I mean, you see men that are women fighting women. When you say, you know, when was it ever a thing that men wanted to be women? I mean, look, thousands of years back, we were down in the hierarchy, we women, right? I mean, men did not want to be women. Maybe it was very, very, you know, nadir, how do you say?
Rare.
Very rare, yeah, like a very rare expression. But now it's like we have all this gender thing, you know, men wanting to be women wanting to be men. Okay, that's more understandable, you know, in our society, for me at least. And so we have this conflict, the 6, and And we have the 39 in the roots that comes to awake the spirit, but it awakes it through what's the word?
Provocation.
Provocation. Yeah, provocation, conflict, right? So both of those gates, both sexuality and both spirit, they need to have that, you know, that force there, the to kind of shake them, to kind of wake them, you know. And you can feel the force when you're thinking about this, you know, two channels, 3955 and 596. So these two gates and the gates that they meet, they're all in motors. It's the root and the sacral and the emotions. It's like, you know, it's the world of energy we're talking about. And it's interesting because we're talking about spirit, right? And we imagine spirit as something like very disconnected from the body. I mean, there's this, you know, new age way of looking at spirit, which comes actually from conditioning of the old world, where you have matter and you have spirit. You know, you have God and you have the world. And we all know that's not the truth. They are one, you know, and 55 is the one that holds it and says, you know, abundance is all about spirit, and it's also in the materialistic form. That material is spirit. It's made out of spirit. Yeah, I love the 55. It's actually my Mercury, you know, I'm speaking 55. And so when we look at that, we understand that actually the human spirit is about energy. It's about the material. It's about living in this life. It's about having sex, you know. It's not like you need to be a monk in order to be spiritual. You have to, you know, be celibate. And we know that today. And today we have all this movement of, you know, sexuality and awakening, you know, sex magic, tantra, all these festivals, you know, these festivals. You sometimes go and do music and human design in those festivals, right? The tantra.
You know, for me, it seems literally like we have this something that is homogenized, put in the framework of normality. And then what happens now with every subject, but here we're focusing on sexuality, is that it starts moving to polarities. So one of the polarities is what you're describing, like finding the ultimate source aligned topic, yeah, of what is sacred sexuality, of what is correct way of using sexual energy, and all of that. And then another side, which is like a hardcore perversion, you know, the
porn,
children, you know, pedophile stuff coming up, you know, porn going into the extremes, you know, like with, I don't even want to pronounce, yeah,
things, yeah, we don't want to talk
about. And then we have
exist,
yeah, and then we have normalization of all kind of sexual behaviors that used to be considered deviations for centuries, and putting them out. And you know, every day I get the news about the children in school now receive new books, you know, about acceptance or containing or whatever. It's a lot of new vocabulary also around sexuality, and what is it, you know, is it really kind of a atomic bomb, you know, before the whole world is changing and going asexual, which is basically what the Ra was talking about a lot, yeah? Or what is it, how to see, you know, these processes from your perspective?
You know what comes up when you ask what is it? I think of the third gate, chaos. It's the chaos, you know, because when you have the chaos, out of that the new structure is being born. And you know, actually, you know, the third gate is where mutation happens, genetics on the personal level, like every body, each body. And this is where the genetic organization, you know, of the genes, and this is where mutation is happening, the third gate. And it's chaos, right? And so we're in that place, and we speak English, but I have sometimes Hebrew coming up. And
you can speak, I can translate you.
Someone, no, it's not about, it's something that you can't really translate. I'm going to say it, but someone wrote about, in Hebrew, chaos is tohu vavohu. Tohu vavohu means chaos. And then someone wrote tohu ubohu, like tohu is chaos, and in it, him meaning God, you know, like in the chaos, There is the force of creation. Yeah, it's in it. It's like Hebrew is very beautiful that way, in the way that you can find you can find God in every word in Hebrew. You know, it's like this is my feeling. Anyway, this is what it is. It's like, and you know what's interesting? 55 is in Kali. 55 is in Kali. And Kali is the darkness. It's the mother, you know, before everything. It's like before time, before space, before the world. That's Kali. And 55 is in Kali. And 59 is in Thoth, it's called, is a Egyptian god. And it kind of answers the questions, you know, of that place. And you can see the answers. The answers is the 21 saying yes to life, you know, it's the 59 with the intimacy, and the answers are here in this
29
body.
you mean?
29 is saying yes, and then the 59.
Yeah,
they're both in the same Godhead. So we are in, you know, the Hindus call the Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, the time of the darkness. But what is darkness? You know, we're not afraid of darkness, right? We're in direct light, you and I. We both dive into the shadow, you know, and there are shadows, but in the darkness, the light awaits. And this is something that we can see in sexuality, actually. You know, that place of you know, the way that sexuality is, and it's part of the conditioning, but it's interesting, right? How like humans were conditioned for so many decades that sexuality is something to do in the dark. You know, it's something you put on your clothes. This is where human culture started, where Adam and Eve put on the clothes and they were ashamed of their sexuality. They were ashamed of being naked. So this is the beginning of the seven-centered beings, you know, going up to the mind. And this is where oppression of the sexuality, which is the force of life, started. So everybody goes up to the mind and the sacral is gone, you know, and it's oppressed. And it's what we call slavery, you know, say slaves. And the movement of waking up is the movement from slavery to freedom. And where does this start? Because the, you know, generators are the slaves. We are super slaves because, you know, we amplify that energy that is oppressed, and, you know, it looks for the porn to kind of, you know, disperse it because it doesn't have, because it's not in the light. It was oppressed for so many years. You can hear, you know, generators, sacral generators speaks sometimes when you hear generators, and I'm waiting to hear, you know, the life force speaking. And for some people, you just don't hear it. It's so sad. It's so oppressed. Yeah, it's all up here. And, you know, and this is the suffering of the human race. It's up here. And you know, it was okay, like back in 400 years ago, but now 9-centered beings. And our new brain is the solar plexus. That's where the 55 is at, you know, that's where the mutation is happening. So our real brain, and, you know, scientists say that in our solar plexus, actually, there's a complexity of neural, you know, neurons relationships, that it's big as the brain, the same as the brain. They're like, why do we have so many neurons in the solar plexus? Well, it's our brain. It's our real brain, our emotional brain. This is where I reside. I reside there, you know, and my mind speaks, but it's like, this is the place that moves me. That's my solar plexus brain, right? And as a species, we started, you know, we started 5-centered beings, hooga hooga, you know, killer monkeys. In 5 centers, we were in the spleen. That was our awareness center. That was our authority. And then it went to the ajna. 7-centered beings, their authority was the ajna. And 300 years ago, or a little more, right? 17, whatever, it went down to the solar plexus. And we're in that transition now. And this transition is changing everything, and is changing sexuality. And one of the interesting things I was telling you before was I was, you know, I was having all those downloads today, that I suddenly noticed that, you know, you have the 59-6, that channel that goes from the sacral to the emotion, to the solar plexus. That's the first channel of the emotions. So actually that's where the emotional center was birthed. Yeah, when we went to 9 center beings. And it started from the 59. So in a way, the 59 gave life to emotions. So that the gate of sexuality, the gate of dispersion, it gave life. It made this channel, and then emotional human came to life. That's so beautiful, this very, very old force, the 59, that force of sexuality. It's the first thing. I mean, sexuality, there would be nothing if there's no sexuality, the yin and the yang dancing together. And now this emotional...
We can actually go also next step. I'm just developing, what you are bringing to the fact that it's actually the only channel in the whole body graph that defines both type and inner authority.
Right.
Yeah. So
you're an
really
emotional generator. Yeah.
Of course, because if this channel is defined, the person is fixed both with their type and their inner authority. Emotional generator, at least. And that is huge, because it's like, okay, so it's such a definitive force, and it's tribal, and it's defense also. So bringing
circuitry.
Bringing these keynotes is like, so it's actually so fundamental. And what's interesting, and also we talked before live, I kind of want to develop the thought in the so you can also continue later, is the whole institution of family crumbling down. Is we as humanity are trying to understand so many things. And needless to say, there's also territorial question involved. And we see how the distribution now with the migrant conflict in Europe and Africa, shifting stuff, and South America and everything.
And Israel.
Everywhere now.
In Israel.
Everywhere territory, territory starts shifting, but the territory starts shifting not just in Israel, America, Europe, it starts shifting within ourselves. And this family institute is like, why did we even have it? We have it to make sure that the man can have sex as much as they want, once they get married, so they go to work peacefully. And they serve the civilization, and building these last 400 years, just this urban reality that it's a very maybe redundant way of putting things.
Marriage was a lot, way before the industrial.
Yeah, but then it was tribal.
Revolution.
Then it was tribal. Then it was integrated into bigger picture, into the tribe.
Marriage is tribal. 1949. Yeah, you're talking about. But, for me, industrial is more the collective way. What you said now is like the next step. Before that,
Yeah. I talk about the last.
Sorry, you're talking and I'm thinking.
Yeah, maybe I have to take out. I talk about the last 400 years and the picture of reality that we consider normal crumbling down, because actually what we consider normal is also not normal. It wasn't normal 400 years ago, like the picture of reality we're born in. And that is something that with human design, we have ability to zoom out and see objectively without being stuck just in this period of time that we are born in. But we are able to literally change the glasses, change the filters, and look at reality as realities.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yes. And have a non-personal perspective, so understand that a lot of times what people think they are going through, and it can be so painful, I found a husband, I didn't find a husband, I brought kids, or I didn't, and now I'm 40, will I bring kids, will I not bring? You can see this. I'm in women groups, so you can see the conversations. It's a big deal now. Why? Because it's not like it used to be. It's not what you say the normal anymore. Like the normal has changed, has shifted. And it keeps shifting and changing towards the individual, because this is what's coming. The individual is coming, and 55 is the individual, and it's mutating the tribe. So the 55 is mutating, and in a way it's mutating its mother, like the 59 is the mother of emotion. It kind of birthed it. This is what I was thinking today, was so interesting, it's like with the sacral birthing this, this emotional center, and then this emotional center going back at the sacral, mutating it, and it's kind of like our generation sees this work that we do, with Ho'oponopono, family constellation, human design as well, not talking about it, but you're doing this this fixing, you're fixing the family genes inside you. When we are healing, we're healing generations. Yeah, we talk about that. And it's like that in the chart, like the emotions, the emotional center. And the more we are emotionally aware, yeah, the more our life mutates, and the way that our life force is used or not used, we stop trying to use the life force, which is what slavery is, mind trying to use the life force. We let the life force live and take us, or the emotional waves. If you're emotional, and that movement is actually the new. It's the movement of the unknown. It's, when you take off the head, and you, you let the motors, you let the energy of life, take you in a way, and you kind of lay back and let the magnetic monopole take you. This is what human design is about. And then spirituality changes, and intimacy changes, and sexuality changes. And I'm sure, I know I went through a very deep deconditioning process with human design in sexuality and intimacy, and in my relationship, with my husband, and all my relationships, but we're talking about sexuality. And I can say now, 12 years, into this amazing experiment, it has mutated my life in this area so deeply, that it's like, if I look, it's like another life, it's like another life. The woman that I was, the way that I was, dealing with him, dealing with sexuality, and dealing with life. So it's so beautiful when it happens with human design. And it was very hard in the beginning, I have to say. And this is where we go down to, what it means to live this, because, I'm a manifestor and I'm a woman. So I have a closed aura. And once I decided to stay in my strategy, I started repelling him. But, we have this dance in the homogenized world, where maybe today is less for the younger people, but, our generation, I'm going to be 50 soon. It's like the homogenization was, that the male has to initiate, right? The male has to initiate. Of course, sex they have to initiate, and they always want more sex than the woman, right? The man in our homogenized whatever. And so when I became myself, I started repelling him. It just happened through the aura. I didn't mean for that to happen, but it was what was correct. And it took us years to actually each one be in our own form, in the correct way, to dance together in a way that was harmonious. And to bring back the passion, I want to say, because I'm individual. I have the 55, I have the 2212. Individuals can be very passionate, especially 22. It's like, but in a way, needing to go through that deconditioning, it was, and I'm a non-sacral being, so it's inconsistent, right? You can be in that I don't know when enough is enough when you're not self, or you can be in this, okay, don't even talk to me about sex. It's like this too, the polarities you were talking about. This is the asexual is a polarity in our days, at least, And so strategy and authority, being in my form, anchoring in my solar plexus, informing what is for me, what is not for me, what is happening, what is, and it's so beautiful to see, metamorphosis. It's so beautiful to see when you get to harmony, and when you get to love. And this last, actually 2 weeks since the last lesson we did, I had amazing experiences, and the quarter of duality started, and I had really amazing experiences in the peaks what relationships, can be. I just felt like saying
Yeah,
that.
this what you're sharing, yeah, you even though abstract, but personal process is really something that I observe in a lot of people, yeah, that come to my field for readings or coaching, and taking, people on the process through human design really reveals something that is hidden for the mind. It's hidden for the mind in the way that there are words that we transmit between each other. But the way we get these words, it's always different. But what we get through these words is literally, if it gets in, for most of people, it doesn't get in. But for those 4% who gets them in, we can't really choose if it happens or not. We can just witness. It starts creating that mutation, that change that the mind has zero possibility to control. Yeah, we can only witness that. And I kind of slowly want to take us to talk about actually why also we are offering this talk and this perspective today in this framework. And the reason why is because we are co-creating an outstanding event, outstanding for humans, for individuals, and for human design world, because none of anything like that has ever happened before. And we are both first line, so we also really love to investigate and to experiment with what we're investigating, to kind of ground this knowledge, right? And so you went through this incredible mutation. I cannot even call it transformation, because for you it's also very spiky, as your emotional system is spiky. And I love to, always put the difference between transformation and mutation, because transformation has a timeline. Mutation doesn't have a timeline. It's instant. It's impulsive. It just happens, and then through integration, it kind of upgrades the system slowly. It happens fast and then upgrades the system slowly.
Yeah.
Sometimes not slowly.
I'm both, but yeah, I'm mostly individual, but I also have, in my cross, I have the 11 and the 47, and I have the 38. So yeah.
Yeah, but I was mainly talking about your emotional wave. Yeah.
Totally mutation. It was like this.
Which is spiking.
It comes in spikes each time, again and again. It's like spiking, mutating, integrating.
And what's been happening in your life before when you didn't know it? And what's been happening in your life or my life? I have a very different mechanic from yours. When you heard about it, but it's still, to hear things and to have them as your reality, there is a process in between. And so many people is like, I understand, yes, it's clear. And then 2 years later, they come back to the recording and realize it's not clear at all. It's like, aha, now it started for you. Now it started. And actually, I want to ask you a very simple question, because it has to do for me a lot with how we understand very basic modalities. Is what is experiment? What is experiment?
What a great question, Julia. I wasn't expecting it. Wow, that's an amazing question, because for me, that's everything, to understand what the experiment is, because so many people, like you said, they think they understand it mentally, and they take it so mentally, and they learn, this gate and that channel and this, but they don't experiment. And what does experiment mean? It means put it to the test. You heard something, see how it works. So actually experimenting is about decision making, because human design is about decision making. When we say strategy and authority, and we keep saying it again and again, it's something to take and do in a way. It's the only thing that we can really do to be correct. So actually experimenting starts from understanding your type, meaning what your strategy is. If you're a generator, you're waiting to respond. If you're a projector, you're waiting for the invitation. If you're a manifestor, you're waiting for the universe to push you. So it starts with that. It starts with understanding your inner authority, which is the place that makes the decision according to this. There's this strategy, you stop, and then inner authority is where you want to be anchored, because that's what really moves your, you know, your design. So, and after you understand that, it's how do I live from that? So first of all, you have to stop listening to your mind when it tells you what to do, because if you're just translating it now to, you know, okay, I'm going to do what I want. Yeah, I responded to this or whatever, you know, I can see minds doing all the time. Because mind is such an amazing and brilliant thing, and so, you know, manipulative. Not listening to your mind when it tells you what to do is actually the experiment. So what happens if I don't listen to my mind? If I understand that my mind has no real power to make decisions in my life, and actually it's not here for that. I like to say it's like the radio in the car, it's not the GPS. Yeah, so you have this amazing form, it's a limousine, and there's a radio, you know, it's the mind. But that's not the GPS. It's not going to tell you where to go. And if you listen to the music and you try to go by what they say in the songs, then, you know, good luck with that. You're not going to get anywhere, you know? So not listening to the mind when it tells you what to do. And that's so radical. It is so radical. It's beyond comprehension, because all our culture, all our society is based upon, you know, I think, therefore I exist and all that. So, you know, listen to your mind, you know, be in school 12 years and then go to university and think, you know, and make decisions from here. And this is what our culture is actually based upon, with this personality of, oh, I think I'm this and I'm not this, so I should do this and I should not do this, and this is the world, so I need to be like this. All this is what we're trying to, you know, get rid of, because this is the pain. This is the suffering, this mental life we live. Instead of really being in reality, we're like in a, you know, in this movie. So not listening to the mind when it tells us what to do, and then experimenting with moving according to what the chart is advising us. So either be in your sacral and wait to respond, meaning wait for something to come to you, you know, or be that projector, that light, and just, you know, wait for the recognition coming and inviting you. Yeah, or wait for the universe to push you from inside out if you're a manifester. Reflectors, you know, they wait for the moon. Not so many around. So this is the experiment. The experiment is, you know, trying it out and seeing what happens. Am I angry? That means I have something to look at. You know, am I frustrated? Then what's happening? Okay, I'll stop and I'll wait.
That's beautiful. So, you know, one word that I would like to add, because you are describing everything literally so step by step, how it goes. One word that I would remind all of us, including myself, is the word belief, of course, because the experiment is what discerns between the belief about who I am, what I like, what's your favorite color, and between what is. And it really shows the difference in step by step. You know, I believe I drink coffee twice a day, but then, you know, I come to coffee shop, and in the coffee shop I have for a coffee, you know, and then what to do? I drink coffee twice a day. If I wouldn't notice my body, I would not notice it says I'll just stay here. Yeah, it's like twice a day coffee. That's what I do.
Yeah,
and that's what happens to all of us. To literally all of us, to one way or another.
This is why people are sick, you know, this is why they're depressed. This is why, because they're incorrect.
Yeah. So slowly, from the experiment, I want to take us to the Crete, to Crete, and to the magic place that will be open for all the women who are ready to experiment. And you know what comes to me now, because we are so different with you, and you know this collaboration is really it's so exciting because we trigger each other, and in all kind of ways. And I'm personally enjoying, you know, my sadomaso part is like really enjoying it, because that's how I learn also about myself, and I'm sure the same happens with you. And so uniting these two different powers for this space and for this time will really allow how I see it. From the one side, your radical, your radical part of like, I'm in a radical experiment, let's just do it, and my part, which is like, well, you can try like this,
Let's
but you can also
support,
try
we're
like that,
tribal.
it's like, yeah, it's like,
I love that.
and to see how these polarities, they both exist, which means they're both correct, they're just
Yes.
different.
Yes.
And the space between us and between these polarities can give women who will join, and we already have a beautiful group. Yeah, we don't actually have that many spots left. Yeah, we already have a beautiful group of women from all over the world. Yeah, from Costa Rica and Israel and Slovakia and Germany and Czech Republic, you name it.
It's just so exciting, that's one of the things for me, so exciting, see, and women from all cultures, but we all have this woman conditioning, and it's so interesting to see, how it's different from culture to culture, and we meet on the human design level with the human design language, and actually we come to go, yin yang and beyond. We go beyond that, because we go beyond the conditioning, and that's what's so beautiful. And you were talking, I was thinking, this is so 59, 55, because you're the tribal, the 59, and I'm the 55, and they dance together. They're meant to dance together. And the one thing that I really love about co-creating with you is, it's true, we trigger each other. And then the communion we have, the way that I always feel I can inform everything so authentic and tell you, and you take it and you love it. It's like, okay, thank you for, and it's, I think it's both ways. For me, it's like, we can really, this communication that human design enables us, when we go from the, personal me story level, to, oh, okay, you didn't inform me, Julia. I was like, what's happening?
I just didn't want to interrupt your flow, but that's a picture of just who we talk about.
But yeah, we're so different, and we're on the fractal. You can see the fractals, the fractal lines in our geometry. But the communication that human design enables us. I mean, for me, this is life, in the end, because the more my communication with myself, inside myself, is clear, and then I can have the correct people out, that I can bring this clarity and get the, and get the impact actually back, that this is happening, a new kind of communication I'm talking about, and I have goosebumps. Those people in my life that we communicate in harmony, and we can bring the things that are hard for us, and we can bring the triggers, and we can bring what's coming up. We can be with the emotions, which is what it's all about, being a human being. That's so challenging. There's so much pain, there's so much anguish, there's so much going on. We can feel it in our body, where I think we talked about it last time. To just be, human. And then from that to kind of flower, like this beautiful flower with the scent, that it comes out in the communication. And I think this is what we're doing. We're coming together in groups, in human design groups. We're learning the language of the tribe of the spirit. It's the tribe of the spirit, the people that know that we can live ourselves here, our human spirit, in this body, and we can live that together and be the individual that we are. This is the time that is coming, but create, the communities and the communions that don't hinder that can empower that, empower being who I am, but empower the community. So you bring the support, I bring the empowerment. Yeah. And so we're both bring both, but you have these archetypes. And it's happening in a paradise. So back to paradise kind of thing. Crete.
Yeah, I'm informing that I want to open the website.
Yes, and share the pictures of Crete. We're going to be in a beautiful house, and this house has a private beach, so you can go skin dipping, naked in the water. It's only us there. We have an amazing studio, beautiful studio with big windows to the beach, and we have very beautiful rooms. This is our private beach over there, and we're going to, first of all, enjoy together. So we're gonna have amazing Greek food, and we're going to have just social interactions, but also we're going, and there's some pictures here are from the Manifest for Women retreat. It's happening in the same place, so you can see the studio, and we're going to do practices like in aura practices to be more anchored in our aura. We're going to talk about the woman roles, how it comes into expression, through the aura and through the type and through circuitry. And we're going to basically be more present, to see the conditioning so we can say goodbye to it, because once you see, you can be more present when it happens in life. So when you meet conditioning in life, you know how to, you see it, you say, oh, this is just my, my open ego. This is just my open sacral, whatever. And you can be more you can be more correct. So being together as women in aura, practicing our strategy and authority together in a group, so we can be stronger and more empowered in that when we go out or back into life, and learning and investigating, and also just enjoying being us together, women. It's always so fun and, and juicy and tasty to be with women, for me, with at least women that are in their experiment and design experiment.
Yeah, it's amazing. This year I had I visited, participated, taught in over 10 different festivals. And some of them had women's circles, and I did my best to be present to most of them. But I didn't really participate. I was more of the observer, but not observer even visually, but more observer energetically and connecting as a 1-3. I love to investigate and then take things in. And of course, thinking about this retreat and kind of, how can I take the best of it, and transform it also for women who's going to come? And then I realized there is no such thing, because the field is created by each and every one of us, coming with specific something, and I don't want to call it, with specific something. And when a lot of somethings they get together, then through the facilitation, which is not coming from the mind, we can really just respond. The nature of this planet is responding, beyond the individual, so we can respond to that, and then the field will be created by itself through all of us putting that conscious and unconscious intention. And I talk about unconscious intention, which can be even more like primordial, to this conscious, what I think I need. There's things that I don't think I need, but I do. And that's basically the power, that we are coming with to this project, to this retreat, is to create space. And that's why we work so much about this space, and to measure it, who stays with who, where are we going to do which event, each workshop, how are we going to arrange. We have 3 helpers, to arrange space, which is not that big, but we really make sure, that the space is impeccably perfect. So when women are coming, they have everything they need and beyond. And beyond.
Yes, I love that you speak about the space. It's all about the G. We both have the open G, and having the correct space is so important. Just being in it, even before the facilitation happens, just being in the correct space with the correct people. People who say yes to this adventure, to this quest, out of inner authority. So if you're here and you've been watching this and knowing that this is going on, and suddenly there's this clarity, or if you're splenic and your spleen says, yeah, that's for me, you have a hit, listen to that hit, don't listen to your mind. Or if you're sacral now, are you coming? Says, then we invite you and we inform you that we would love to see you. And we're asking you to come because, it happens for all of us. I mean, for me, each event like that, each retreat, each immersion that I do is like a new mutation. Each time I come back to life and something happens, something changes in the most beautiful ways. It's so beautiful because it's like you said, the change happens. It's a cellular change. It happens in the cells of the body. And what happens when we create this aura, this public aura together, and we resonate, something happens to the frequency. Even if it's not a mental thing. It's this being together and the aha moments that we have, that we take to life, but actually just the being together in aura with people who live the experiment and who are anchored in their inner authority and make a correct movement, respecting each other. If I know someone is a projector or a manifestor or a generator, and I know how to move with her, and we have this human design is so amazing with, the level of respect that is possible living together or being together in a space for a few days. And this is something that is so rare to see, the way people speak is so many times so incorrect, like people just say, do that, do this, you should do this, and advise you without you asking and everything. And when you are in a human design space and there's this respect that people don't jump at you, manifestors are very, very sensitive to that. And I always feel in those spaces, the human design spaces, I feel this respect that people, they don't just come up to me. And it's like, oh, wow, it's like I can be
yourself.
my body and really, I really, celebrate being me. And this is for everyone. And the projectors that I see, and when I really see them, to come over and, invite for a talk, or the generators that I could just, hey, what's it? And something happens, a ping pong, and so this beautiful dance is it's really rare, I feel, in the homogenized world. Then creating this and feeling this and owning it for a few days, you take it into your life. And this is the magic of really what we're doing. The magic is not even in those 5 days, but what happens after when you go back to life, and you felt that for 5 days, how it is to be with people that are really correct with you and you're correct with them, and how it is to, to respect, and how it is to live you. And, you're going to be authentic in a way you haven't been before because, it works. So.
Yeah, and through very specific activities that we are tailor making, leaving space, of course, for the unknown to unfold, but at the same time, keeping the skeleton in a very specific way, basically is going to allow you to see your patterns and to see possibilities of going beyond your patterns in sexuality, in intimacy. And that's a beautiful way that we actually brought today's discussion to this level of sexuality and intimacy, but at the same time to explore it in the completely, one gender field, which takes away this friction in the way, and charge when the two genders are present, but still, staying in that. So to reveal what is actually for me, when I don't, there is no mental game. Yeah, what if this guy, and there's none of it there. It's pure field in this sense, but in that purity, the patterns stay same patterns. But you don't have that like extra stuff to deal with.
Yes.
So it's going to be more pure space to investigate and to live. Your all mental stories, your mental formulas, patterns, so you can see them naked on the table of your inner kitchen. And that's how you can take these ingredients and basically start cooking new dishes based on those ingredients that you know very well.
Yeah. I love what we just did because I mean, we didn't mean to do it, but you were talking about intentions and we just put some beautiful intentions to what is going to be in this retreat. I mean, we sit with the structure and what we're going to do and which practices and which themes and all that. But what we did now is just like putting this intentions. And you said about unconscious intentions. And sometimes, you know, when we speak, then we can hear what the real intent is. So thank you for that. That was really, yeah, that was really good. I love it.
I think it's a good note.
I can feel it vibrating. Yeah.
I think it's a good note to kind of start wrapping up for today. Please, if you watched until now, remember, be informed that if you sign up for this retreat until the end of the month, you get around half hour of reading from both of us, which is in itself an extra, big extra. And you can bring your topics and something specific that you want to work
and you can bring a combination of charts. So if you want to look at your chart with your you know, with your spouse, with your children, with your parents, with your partners in business, whatever it is, we're going to look at combination charts, which is it's a very interesting topic for, you know, quarter of duality. But also we wanted to say about early bird, right? We actually extended the early bird because of the Jovian Archive newsletter. What did we extend it to?
End of month.
September 15th or?
Did we do it September 15th? Oh, wow. That's...
No, I don't know. I'm asking you. You were on
I thought it's... Actually, I don't remember. I thought it's at the end of August.
The end of
but
August,
we have to... We have to double check whatever we wrote there. Yeah.
It's the end of August, but because the newsletter, Jovian Archive newsletter, only came out yesterday or the day before, we said we want to give people a little time for clarity.
Yeah. Great. Fantastic.
So, join us, and if you have any questions, you can write Julia, you can write me in Messenger, or if you go to our website, then there is our phone numbers, our email. You can contact us in any way that is correct for you. We're available for questions on the retreat.
I will actually put the link to our retreat also in the comments, so it's more
we didn't give
accessible.
any time for questions here, huh? We talked so much.
And the hour is gone, and
the hour is gone.
And that's what we're aiming for. So
but I do want
questions can come. The questions can come in comments, and then we'll respond to them in the comments.
Good.
And
this is a topic we could do 3 lives about.
Of course,
we just touched on it.
I mean, it's a question for the course, for the book, and it's a question that the answer will unfold as we go and unfold. Because the beauty here is that there is nothing definite. And to me, this is the core space that we are creating, you know, individually in our workspace. Yeah, you're doing incredible job in Israel. I'm doing it all over the place, mainly in Europe, of creating spaces where people can find stability within. So stability outside is not more an illusion that the mind is feeding.
More spaces in Europe than I am in Israel. I have an immersion in September in Romania and Crete in October, and November I'm in Barcelona in a manifesto retreat. So yeah, but it's true, I'm in Israel.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and you know, for me, it's pretty much from the northern countries down to Greece. And I have Leaving Your Design in Cyprus in the end of the year, yeah, which is also kind of the lowest point of my territory.
In person Living Your Design? Oh, cool.
Yeah. So close to Crete also. And I'm saying let's get there first, step by step, because the world is really losing the stability, and we realize that it's a new reality, the now that's ever changing.
You just said realize, and I realized that realize is real eyes, not the eyes that see the illusion, but the real eyes, realize.
Yeah. And that's why I like to say it, not like realize, but like real eyes.
That's you said it on purpose. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
of course.
I haven't heard that before.
Real.
Okay, so we should say goodbye to everyone, right? Send kisses.
We should. Enjoy, guys, and let us know your insights, if you got any, or your confusion, if you got any. All is good, all is equally valuable. And love yourself.
Yes.
Hey, ciao.
It's still recording, I think.